The edited version of Henry IV Part 1 you're about to see was made by an ordinary fourth-year English class with very little previous acting experience. In the Elizabethan period, acting was also regarded as part of education in schools. As you probably know, children's companies competed successfully with the men's companies until the status of male adult actors improved to such an extent that the children's companies were ousted from the professional stage. The best boys were given singing parts and various other roles. Female parts were always played by boys. In our production, girls were given major male roles. This seemed appropriate in 1984. Shakespearean productions have experienced several odd interpretations, but our attempt to make a modern version in modern costume seeks to make relevant the issues of our time to Shakespeare. The king is a modern autocrat, backed by the traditional power of the army. The Union Jack symbolizes the national unity which he is attempting to maintain against the disaffected rebels. The rebels themselves are nationalists of various kinds: Scottish nationalist, Welsh nationalist, and by implication Irish nationalist, and dare I say it, arguably English nationalist. They are in the role of RAF and naval types, and this use of the uniform is an attempt to show that they are part of the new way of thinking against the old traditional established power of the king. The rebels themselves seek to devolve power, not to centralize it. The king is attempting to keep his centralized authority. The low-life characters are cheeky, confident, and opportunist, punky types. Hal bestrides the two worlds of the court and the tavern, while Falstaff is his usual outlandish, garish self, an equivocal type, without exception. The use of swords rather than guns was an accident of the history of the production. They were unobtainable, but it seemed that they offered a useful bridging device between the anachronism of the play and the present, so they were retained. The locations reflect the interpretation that we gave to the play. The pub is a near equivalent of the tavern. The Guildhall represents the traditional power base of the king, an establishment idea, while the modern boardroom reflects the forward-looking and progressive attitudes of the rebels themselves. They represent the coming age. Well, we hope you enjoy this production of Henry IV Part 1, and I shall be making some closing comments at the end of it to show how we learned from our experience of making the play itself.
Shaken as we are, so wan with care, find we a time for frighted peace to pant and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in stronza far remote. No more the thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood, nor shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise the flowerets with the hooves of hostile paces. Those opposed eyes shall now in well-beseeming ranks march all one way and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war like an ill-sheathed knife no more shall cut his master. Therefore, friends, as far as the sepulchre of Christ, forth with the power of English shall we levy, to chase these pagans in those holy fields, over whose acres once trod those blessed feet, which, 1400 years ago, were nailed for our advantage on the bitter cross. But this our purpose is 12 months old. Let me hear of you, my gentle cousin Westmoreland, what yesternight our council did decree in forwarding this dear expedient.
My liege, this haste was hot in question, but yesternight, when all athwart, they came a post from Wales, loaden with heavy news, whose worst was that the noble Mortimer, leading the men of Herefordshire to fight against that irregular and wild Glendower, was by the rude hands of that Welshman taken, 1,000 of his people butchered.
It seems that the tidings of this broil break off our business for the Holy Land.
This match rather did, my gracious lord, for more uneven and unwelcome news came from the north, and thus it did import that on Holy Rood Day, the gallant Hotspur there, young Harry Percy, the Earl of Douglas, that ever valiant and approved Scot, at Holmdon met, and there did spend a sad and bloody hour.
Ah, Sir Walter Blunt, just arrived. Take a seat.
The Earl of Douglas is discomfited of prisoners Hotspur took, Mordache, Earl of Fife, and eldest son to Beaton Douglas, and the Earl of Athol, of Murray, Angus, and Monteith.
And is this not an honourable spoil? Ha, cousin, is it not?
In faith, it is a conquest for a prince to boast of.
Yea, there thou makest me sad, and makest me sin, in envy that my Lord Northumberland should be father to so blessed a son, whilst I, by looking in praise of him, see riot and dishonour stain the brow of my young Harry. Oh, that it could be proved that some night-tripping fairy had exchanged in cradle clothes our children where they lay, and called mine Percy his Plantagenet. Then I would have his Harry, and he would have mine. But let them from my thoughts. What think you of this young Percy's pride? The prisoners, which is in his adventure he hath surprised, to his own use he keeps, and sends me word, I shall have none but Mordache, Earl of Fife.
This is his uncle's teaching, says Worcester, malevolent to you in all aspects, makes him prune himself, and bristle up the crest of youth against your dignity.
But I have sent for him to answer this, and for this cause a while we must neglect our holy purpose to Jerusalem. Cousin, on Wednesday next, our council we will hold at Windsor, so inform the lords. But come yourself with speed to us again, for more is to be said and to be done than out of anger can be uttered.
I will, my liege.
Two cups of sack, hostess. Now, Hal, what time of day is it, lad?
Thou art so fat-twitched with the drinking of old sack, and unbuttoning thee after supper, and sleeping upon benches afternoon, that thou hast forgot to mind that truly which thou wast truly know. What the devil hast thou to do with the time of day, unless hours were cups of sack, and minutes capons, and clocks are tongues of boards, and dials are signs of leaping houses, and the blessed sun himself a fair hot wench in flame-coloured taffeta? I see no reason why that should be so superfluous to mind the time of the day.
Indeed you come near me now, Hal, for we that take Percy's go by the moon and the 7 stars, and not by Phoebus, that wandering knight so fair. I prithee, sweet wag, when thou art king, as God save thy grace. Majesty, I should say, for grace thou wilt have none.
What? None?
None, by my troth, shall he serve to be prolonged to an egg and butter.
Well, how then? Come roundly round.
I prithee, sweet wag, shall there be gallows standing in England when thou art king? And resolution, thus fubbed as it is with the rusty curb of old Father Antic the law? Do not thou, when thou art king, hang a thief?
No, thou shalt.
Shall I, O rare? By the Lord, I'll be a brave judge.
Ah, thou judgest false already. I mean, thou shalt have the hang of the thieves, and so become a rare hangman.
Well, Hal, in some sort it jumps with my humour. Thou hast done much harm upon me now, Hal. God forgive thee for it. Before I knew thee, Hal, I knew nothing. But now am I? If a man should speak truly, little better than one of the wicked, I must give over this life, and I will give it over. By the Lord, and I do not, I am a villain. I'll be damned for never a king's son in Christendom.
Where shall we take a purse tomorrow, Jack?
Zounds, where thou wilt, lad, I'll make one. And I do not. Call me a villain and baffle me.
I see a good amendment of life in thee. From frame to purse taking.
Why, Hal, 'tis my vocation, Hal. 'Tis no sin for a man to labour in his vocation.
Oh, my lads, tomorrow morning by 4 o'clock, early at Gad's Hill, there are pilgrims riding to Canterbury with rich offerings, and traders riding to London with fat purses. I have visage for you all, if you have horses for yourself. Gad's Hill lies tonight in Rochester. I have bespoke supper tomorrow night in Eastcheap. We may do it as secure as sleep. If you will go, or stuff your purses full of crowns. If you will not, tarry at home and be hanged.
Hear ye, Edward, if I tarry at home and go not, I'll hang you for going.
You will, Chops.
Hal, wilt thou make one?
Who? I, Rob? I a thief? Not I, by my faith.
There's neither honesty, manhood, nor good fellowship in thee, nor the camest not of the blood royal, if thou darest not stand for 10 shillings.
Sir John, I prithee thee, leave the prince and me alone. I will lay him down such reasons for this adventure that he shall go.
God give thee the spirit of persuasion, and him the ears of prophecy. Farewell, you shall find me in Eastcheap.
Farewell, the latter spring. Farewell, Lord Hallows.
Now, my good sweet honey lord, ride with us tomorrow, for I have a jest to execute that I cannot manage alone. Falstaff, Bardolph, Peter and Gad's Hill. So rob those men that I have already waylaid. You and I will not be there. And when they have the booty, if you and I do not rob them, cut his head off my shoulders.
Yea, but I doubt they will be too hard for us.
Well, for 2 of them I know them to be as true-bred cowards as ever turned back. And for the 3rd, if he fight longer than he sees reason, I'll swear arms. The beauty of this jest be the incomprehensible lies the same fat rogue will tell when we meet at supper.
Well, I'll go with thee. Provide us all things necessary, meet me tomorrow night in Eastcheap. But there I'll sup. Farewell.
Farewell, my lord.
I know you all, and will a while uphold the unerring humour of your idleness. But yet herein will I imitate the sun, who doth permit the base contagious clouds to smother up his beauty from the world, that, when he please again to be himself, being wanted, he may be more wondered at, by breaking through the foul and ugly mists of vapours that seem to strangle him. If all the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work, but when they seldom come, they wishful come, and nothing pleaseth like for accidents. So when this loose behaviour I throw off, and pay the debt I never promised, by how much better than my word I am, by so much I falsify men's hopes. And like bright metal on a sullen ground, my reformation, glittering o'er my fault, shall show more goodly and attract more eyes than that which hath no foil to set it off. I shall so offend to make offence a skill, redeeming time when men think least I will.
My blood hath been too cold and temperate. I am to stir at these indignities. And you have found me, for accordingly you tread upon my patience. But be sure, from henceforth I would rather be myself, mighty and to be feared.
Our house, my sovereign liege, little deserves a scourge of greatness to be used on it, and that same greatness too which our own hands have helped to make so portly.
My lord.
Wouldst thou get thee gone, for I do see danger and disobedience in thine eye. When we need your use and counsel, we shall send for you. You're about to speak?
Yea, my lord, those prisoners in your highness's name demanded, which Harry Percy here at Holden took, were, as he says, not with such strength denied as is delivered to your majesty.
My liege, I did deny no prisoners, but I remember when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed. He was perfumed like a milliner, and twixt his finger and his thumb he held a pouncet box, which ever and anon he gave his nose and took it twag in. With many holiday and lady terms he questioned me, above the rest demanding my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, all smarting with my wounds being cold, answered neglectingly, I know not what he should or he should not, for he made me mad to see him shine so brisk and smell so sweet, and talk so like a waiting gentlewoman of guns and drums and wounds. God save the mark. And telling me the sovereignest thing on earth was palmistry for an inward bruise, that it was great pity so it was. And but for these vile guns, he would himself have been a soldier. This bald, unjointed chat of his, my lord, I answered indirectly, as I said, and I beseech you, let not this report come current for an accusation betwixt my love and your high majesty.
Why, yet he doth deny his prisoners, but with proviso an exception, that we at our own charge shall ransom straight his brother-in-law, foolish Mortimer, who, on my soul, hath wilfully betrayed the souls of those that he did lead to fight against the great magician Dan Glendower, who, as we hear, is recently married. Shall our coffers then be empty to redeem a traitor home? No, on the barren mountains let him starve, for I shall never hold that man, my friend, who shall ask for 1 penny to ransom home revolted Mortimer.
Revolted Mortimer? He never did fall off my sovereign liege, but by the chance of war to prove the true needs no more than 1 tongue for all those wounds. Those mouthed words which valiantly he took when on the gentle Severn sedgy bank, in single opposition, hand to hand, he did confound the best part of an hour in changing hardiment with great Glendower.
Thou dost belie him, Percy, thou dost belie him. He never did encounter with Glendower. I tell thee, he durst as well have met the devil alone than Owen Glendower for an enemy. Let me not hear you speak of Mortimer. Send us your prisoners by the speediest means, or you shall hear from us in such a kind that will displease you, my lord. We give you license to leave with your son, but send us your prisoners, or you shall hear of it.
The devil come and roar for them, I will not send them. I will up the straight and tell him so, for oil is my heart. A bait to make a hazard of my head.
What? Drunk with collar? Stay. Pause a while. Here comes your uncle.
Speak of Mortimer? Zounds, I will speak of him, and let my soul on mercy if I do not join with him.
Brother, the king hath made your nephew mad.
Who struck this heat up after I was gone?
He will, forsooth, have all my prisoners. And when I urged the ransom of his wife's brother again, then his cheek looked pale, and on my face he did turn an eye of death, trembling even at the name of Mortimer.
I cannot blame him. Was not he proclaimed by Richard that dead is, the next of blood?
But soft, I pray you. Did not King Richard then proclaim my brother Edmund Mortimer heir to the crown?
He did. Myself did hear it.
Nay, then, I cannot blame his cousin king who wished him on the barren mountain starve. But shall it be that you put the crown upon the head of this forgetful man, and for his sake you must wear the detested blot of murderous subordination? Shall it in shame be spoken in these days that men of your nobility and power did put down Richard, that sweet lovely rose, and plant this thorn, this canker, Bolingbroke? And shall it in more shame be further spoken that you are fooled, discarded and shook off? No, but time serves wherein you may redeem your banished honours and restore yourselves into the good thoughts of the world again. Therefore I say...
Peace, cousins, say no more, and now I will unclasp a secret book, and to your quick conceiving discontents I'll read you matter deep and dangerous, as full of peril and adventurous spirit as to o'erwalk a current, roaring loud on the unsteadfast footing of a spear.
By heaven, methinks 'twere an easy leap to pluck bright on it from the pale-faced moon, or dive down deep where fathom line could never touch the ground, and pluck up drowned on her by the locks, so he doth redeem her thence might wear, without cribbles all her dignities, but out upon this half-faced fellowship.
He apprehends a world of figures here, but not the form of what he should attend. Good cousin, give me audience for a while.
I cry you mercy.
Those same noble Scots that are your prisoners.
I'll keep them all, by God, I'll not have a Scot of them.
You start away and lend no ear unto my purposes. Those prisoners you shall keep.
Nay, I will, that's flat. He forbade my tongue to speak of Mortimer. Said he would not ransom Mortimer, but I will find him when he lies asleep, and in his ear I'll holler, Mortimer!
Hear you, cousin, a word.
All studies here I solemnly defy, save how to gall and pinch this Bolingbroke, this same sword and buckler, Prince of Wales.
Farewell, kinsman, I'll talk to you when you are better tempered to attend.
Good uncle, tell your tale, I have done.
Nay, if you have not, to it again. We will stay your leisure.
I have done, i' faith.
Then once more to your Scottish prisoners. Deliver them up without their ransom, straight, and make the Douglas son your only mean for powers in Scotland, which for diverse reasons, your son in Scotland being thus employed, shall secretly into the bosom creep of that same noble prelate, well beloved, the Archbishop.
Of York, is it not?
True, who bears hard his brother's death at Bristol, the Lord Scroop. I speak not this in estimation as what I think might be, but what I know is ruminated, plotted, and set down.
Why, it cannot choose but be a noble plot, and then the powers of Scotland and of York to join with Mortimer, huh?
And so they shall.
In faith, it is exceedingly well aimed.
And 'tis no little reason bids us speed, Forbear ourselves as even as we can. The king will always think him in our debt, and we think ourselves unsatisfied, till he hath found a time to pay us home. And see already how he doth begin to make us strangers to his looks of love.
He does. We'll be revenged on him.
Cousin, farewell. No further going this than I by letters shall direct your course. When time is right, which will be suddenly, I'll steal to Glendower and Lord Mortimer, where you and Douglas shall happily beat, to bear our fortunes in our own strong arms, which now we hold at much uncertainty.
Farewell, good brother. We shall thrive, I trust.
Uncle, adieu. And let the hours be short, till fields and blows and groans applaud our sport.
Chamberlain!
Good morrow, Mistress Gadshill. It holds current that I told you yesternight. There's a franklin in the Weald of Kent have brought 300 marks with him in gold. They are up already and called for eggs and butter. They will away presently.
So, if I meet not with St. Nicholas clerks, I'll give thee this nick.
No, I'm not of it. I pray thee keep that for the hangman.
What talkest thou to me of the hangman? If I hang, I'll make a fat pair of gallows. For if I hang, old Sir John hangs with me, and now knows he's no standing. I am joined with no footland rakers, no long staff strikers, none of these mad mustachioed purple-hued maltworms, but with nobility and tranquillity, burgomasters and great one-years, such as can strike sooner than speak sooner than drink, and drink sooner than pray. Yet zounds, I lie, for they pray continually to their saint the Commonwealth, or rather not pray to her, but pray on her, for they ride up and down her and make her their boots.
Come, shelter, shelter. Stand close.
Poins, and be hanged, Poins. I'm the veriest varlet that ever chewed with a tooth. 8 yards of uneven ground is 70 miles afoot with me, and the stony-hearted villains know it well enough. A plague upon it when thieves cannot be true to one another. A plague upon you all. Give me my horse, you rogues. Give me my horse and be hanged.
Peace, ye fat goats. Lie down, lay down here close to the ground, and list if thou canst hear the tread of travellers.
Have you any levers to lift me up from being down? Splud, I'll not bear thy own flesh so far afoot again for all the coin in thy father's exchequer. I prithee, good Prince Al, help me to my horse, good King's son.
Ouch, ye rogue, shall I be your ostler?
So I do, against my will.
Otto, Casey, on with your visage. This money of the king is coming down the hill. It's going to the king's exchequer.
You lie, you rogue. 'Tis going to the king's tavern.
There's enough to make us all.
To be hanged.
Sirs, you force your fundament and now I ain't. Then points and I will blow her. If they escape from your encounters, they will tell us.
How many be there of there? Some 8 or 10.
Zounds! Will they not rob us?
What the cowards, Sir John Bond?
Indeed, I'm not your grandfather, John of Gaunt, but yet no coward how.
Well, we leave that to the fool. Ned, your disguises.
Here, good boy, stand close.
Now, my masters, happy man being his dog, say I. Every man to his business.
But for mine own part, my lord, I could be well content to be there, in respect of the love I bear your house. The purpose you undertake is dangerous. Why, that's certain 'tis dangerous to take a cold, to sleep, to drink. But I tell you, my lord fool, out of this nettle, danger we pluck this flower, safety. The purpose you undertake is dangerous, the friends you have named uncertain. Say you so, What a lack brain is this, by the Lord! Our plot is a good plot, as ever was laid. Our friends, true and constant. A good plot, good friends, and full of expectation. An excellent plot, and very good friends. What a frosty-spirited rogue is this! Is it not my father, my uncle, and myself, Lord Edmund Mortimer and Owen Glendower? Is it not besides the Douglas? What an infidel is this, a pagan rascal! Ha! You shall see now in very sincerity of fear and cold heart. Will he to the king and lay open our proceedings? Hang him, let him tell the king. We are well prepared, I will set forward tonight. How now, Kate, I must leave you within these 2 hours.
Oh, my good lord, why are you thus alone? For what offence have I this fortnight been, a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is it that takes from thee thy stomach, pleasure, and thy golden sleep? Why dost thou bend thine eyes upon the earth, and start so often when thou sitt'st alone? And thus has so bestirred thee in thy sleep, that beads of sweat have stood upon thy brow, like bubbles in a late disturbed stream. And in thy face strange motions have appeared, such as we see when men restrain their breath on some great sudden hest. Oh, what portents are these? Some heavy business has my lord in hand, and I must know it, else he loves me not.
Go, lead forth my horse into the park.
But hear you, my lord.
What sayest thou, my lady?
What it carries you away?
Why, my horse, my love, my horse.
Out, you mad-headed ape. I'll know thy business, Harry, that I will. I fear my brother Mortimer has stirred back his title, and sent for you to learn his enterprise. But if you go...
So far afoot, I shall be weary, love.
Oh, come, you parakeeto, answer me. I'll break thy little finger, Harry, so thou wilt not tell me all things true.
Away, away, you trifler. Love? I love thee not. I care not for thee, Kate. This is no well to play with mammoths or to tilt with lips. We must have bloody noses and cracked crowns and pass them current too. God's me, my horse! What sayest thou, Kate? What wouldst thou have with me?
Do you not love me? Do you not indeed? Nay, tell me if you speak in jest or no.
Come, wilt thou see me ride? And when I am a horseback, I will swear I love thee infinitely, Kate. But hark you, I must not have you henceforth question me. I know you wise, but yet no further wise than Harry Percy's wife. Constant you are, but yet a woman. And for secrecy, no lady closer, for I will believe thou wilt not utter what thou dost not know. And so far will I trust thee, gentle Kate.
How? So far?
Not an inch further. But hark you, Kate. Thither I go, thither you go too. Tonight I will set forth, tomorrow you. Will this content you?
It must, of forth.
Sack, hostess.
Welcome, Jack. Where hast thou been?
A plague of all cowards, I say, marrying the men. There lives not 3 good men unhanged in England, and one of them is fat and grows old.
How now, Warsack? What mutter you?
A king's son, if I do not beat thee out of thy kingdom with a dagger of blade, and drive all thy subjects afore like a flock of wild geese, I don't longer wear hair on my face more. You Prince of Wales.
Why, you horse and row man, what's the matter?
What's the matter? There be 4 of us here have taken £1,000 this day morning.
Where is it, Jack? Where is it?
Where is it? Taken from us it is. 100 upon poor 4 of us.
100, man?
I have escaped by a miracle. I have 8 times thrust through the doublet, 4 through the hose. My dagger, hacked like a handsaw. Ecce signum. I have never dealt better since I were a man. All would not do. A plague of all cowards, I say. Let them speak.
We 4 set upon some dozen.
16 at least, my lord.
And bound them.
No, they were not bound.
You lie, you rogue. They were bound, every man of them.
As we were sharing, some 6 or 7 fresh men set upon us.
And unbound the rest, then come in the other.
What? Forced you with them all?
All? I know not what you call all, but if I fought with 50 of them, I'm a bunch of radish.
Pray God you have not murdered some of them.
Nay, that's past praying for. I've peppered 2 of them. Hal, if I tell thee a lie, spit in my face. Call me horse. 4 rogues in buckram let drive at us. These 4 came all afront and mainly thrust at me. But I made me no more ado, and took all thy 7 points in thy target thus.
7? Why, there were 4 even now.
In buckram?
Aye, 4 in buckram suits.
7 by these hilts or armour, villain else.
Prithee let him alone. We shall have more went on.
Dost thou hear me, Hal?
Aye, and mark thee too, Jack.
Do so, for it is worth listening to. These 9 in buckram that I told thee of.
So, 2 more already.
Their points being broken.
Down for her host.
Began to give me ground, but I followed close, came in, foot and hand, and with a thought, 7 of the 11 I paid.
Oh, monstrous. 11 buckram men grown after 2.
But as the devil would have it, 3 misbegotten men in Kendal Green came at my back and let drive at me. For it was so dark, Hal, thou could not see thy hands.
Why, how couldst thou know these men in Kendal Green, when it was so dark thou couldst not see thy hand?
What?
Are we no longer guilty of this sin, this sanguine coward, this bed-presser, this horseback breaker, this huge hill of flesh?
Spludge, you starveling, you elfskin, you dry neat's tongue, you bull's pizzle, you stockfish. Oh, what for breath to utter like thee? You tailor's yard, you sheath, you bowcase, you vile standing tuck.
We saw you 4 set on 4, and bound them, O master their wealth. Mark now how our plain tale shall put you down. Then did we 2 set on you 4, and with a word I'll face you from your pies, and have it chain could show it you here in the house. What trick, what device, what starting out, cause thou now find out how to hide thee from this open and apparent shame?
Come, let's see, Jack. What trick hast thou now?
Hear you, my masters. Was it for thee to kill the heir apparent? Should I turn against the true prince? Why, thou knowest I'm as valiant as Hercules. But beware, Instinct, the lion will not touch the true prince. Instinct is a great matter. I was now a coward on instinct. But, by the Lords, lads, I'm glad you have the money. Clap to the doors, watch tonight, pray tomorrow. Gallants, lads, boys, hearts of gold. What? Shall we be merry? Yea.
Oh, Jesus, my lord the prince.
Now.
Marry, my lord, there's no one in the court at door to speak with you. He says he comes from your father.
What manner of man is he?
An old man.
What, that gravity out of his bed at midnight? Should I give him his answer?
What did he do, Jack?
Faith, I'll send him packing.
Faith, tell me now in earnest, how come Falstaff's sword so hacked?
Why, he hacked it with his dagger and persuaded us to do the like.
Yeah, you have to tickle our noses with a spear glass to make them bleed. Have to slubber our garments with them and say it was the blood of true men. I did this not 7 years before, and I blush to hear his monstrous devices.
There's villainish news from abroad. Oh, here was Sir John Bracey from your father. You mustered the court in the morning. That same mad fellow of the North Percy, and he of Wales, have sworn the devil is true liegeman upon the cross of a Welsh hook. What? Plague call you him?
Oh, Glendower.
Owen the same, and his son-in-law Mortimer, and old Northumberland, and that sprightly Scot of Scots Douglas. Worcester is stolen away tonight. Our father's beard has turned white with the news. You may now buy land as cheap as stinking mackerel.
Why then it is like if there come a hot June this civil buffeting hold, we shall buy maidenheads there by hobnails by the hundreds.
Now tell me how, art thou not horrible afeard, thou being heir apparent? Could the world pick thee out 3 such enemies again as that fiend Douglas, that spirit Percy, and that devil Glendower? Do not thou blood thrill at it?
Not a witty faith, I lack some of thy instinct.
Well, thou shalt be horribly chid tomorrow when thou comest to thy father. If you love me, practice an answer.
Did thou stand with my father and examine upon the particulars of my life?
Shall I content? This chair shall be my state, this dagger my sceptre. Well, and the fire of grace be not quite out of me. Now shalt thou be moved.
Well, here is my leg.
And here is my speech. Stand aside, nobility.
Oh, Jesu, this is excellent, sporty face.
Harry, I do not only marvel well thou spendest thy time, but whom thou art accompanied. For though the camel milk, the more it is trodden on, the faster it grows. Yet youth, the more it is wasted, the sooner it wears. For thou art my son, I have partly my mother's word, partly my own opinion, but chiefly a villainous trick of thine eye, and a foolish hanging of thy leather lip that doth warrant me. There is a thing, Harry, which thou hast often heard of, and it is known to many be in our land by the name of pitch. This pitch as ancient writers doth report, doth the fire, and so doth the company thou keepest. And yet, there is a virtuous man I have often noted in thy company, but I know not his name.
What manner of man, and is like your majesty?
A good portly man, corpulent and defaith. And now I remember me. His name is Falstaff. Him keep with, the rest banish. But tell me now, thou naughty varlet, tell me where thou hast been this month.
Dost thou speak like a king? Did thou stand for me and I'll play my father? Well, here I am set.
And here I stand. Now judge, my masters.
Now, Harry, whence come you?
My noble lord, from Eastcheap.
The complaints I hear of thee are grievous.
Sblood, my lord, they are false. Nay, I'll tickle ye for a young prince.
Swearest thou, ungracious boy? Henceforth, ne'er look on me. Thou art vilely carried away from grace. There is a devil haunts in the likeness of an old fat man. A ton of man is thy companion. Why dost thou converse with that reverend vice, that grey iniquity, that father upping, that vanity in years? Wherein is he good, but to taste sack and drink it? Wherein neat and cleanly, but to carve a capon and eat it? Wherein cunning, but in craft? Wherein crafty, but in villainy? Wherein villainous, but in all things? Wherein worthy, but in nothing?
I would your grace would take me with you, but who means your grace?
That villainous abominable misneeder of youth, Falstaff, that old white-bearded Satan.
My lord, the man I know.
I know thou dost.
But to say there is more harm in him than in myself is to say more than I know. For he is old, the more the pity. His white hairs do witness it. But if to be old and merry be a sin, then many a host I know is damned. My good lord, banish Bardolph, banish Peter, banish Poins. But for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more valiant as he is old Jack Falstaff, banish not him thy Harry's company. Banish plump Jack and banish all the world.
I do, I will.
Oh, my lord, the sheriff with the most monstrous watch is at the door.
Out, you rogue! Play out the play. I have much to say on behalf of that Falstaff.
They're come to search the house, so I let them in.
Now, my masters, for good faith and true conscience.
Both which I have had, but their date is out. Therefore I'll hide thee.
Call in the sheriff. Now, Master Sheriff, what is your will with me?
First, pardon me, my lord. Hugh and Crier followed certain men unto this house.
What men?
One who is well known, my gracious lord, a gross, fat man, fat as butter.
The man I do assure you is not here, but I will by tomorrow dinner time send in to answer thee or any man for anything he shall be charged withal. And so let me entreat you leave the house.
I will, my lord. That two gentlemen have in this world be lost 300 marks.
It may be so. If he has robbed these men, he shall be answerable. And so, farewell.
Good night, my noble lord.
I think it is good morrow, is it not?
Indeed, my lord. I think it is 2 o'clock.
Falstaff, fast asleep behind the arms, snorting like a horse.
There let him sleep till day. Alter the court in the morning. He must alter the walls, and I say shall be honourable. I'll recall this fat rogue a charge of foot, and I know his death will be a march of 12 score.
Lord Mortimer, Uncle Worcester and Glendale, will you sit down? A plague upon it, I forgot the map.
No, here it is. Sit, Cousin Percy, sit, good Cousin Hotspur. For by that name, as oft as Bolingbroke doth speak of you, his cheek looks pale, and with a rising sigh he wisheth you in heaven.
And you in hell as oft as he hears own Glendale spoke of.
I cannot blame him, At my nativity, the front of heaven was full of fiery shapes, of burning crescents, and at my birth, the frame and huge foundation of the earth did shake it like a coward.
So it would have done at the same season as if your mother's cat had but kittened, though yourself had never been born.
Cousin of many men, I do not bear these crossings. Give me leave to tell you once again that at my birth, the front of heaven was full of fiery shapes, and all the causes of my life do show I am not in the roll of common men. Where is he living, clipped in with the sea that chides the banks of England, Scotland, Wales, which calls me pupil or hath read to me, which brings him out, that is but woman's son, and hold me pace in deep experiments?
I think there's no man speaks better Welsh.
I'll to dinner. Peace, Cousin Percy, you'll make him mad.
I can call spirits from the vasty deep.
Why, so can I, so can any man. Will they come when you do call for them?
Why, I can teach you, cuz, to command the devil.
And I can teach thee, cuz, to shame the devil by telling truth. Tell truth and shame the devil.
Come, come, no more of this unprofitable chat.
Well, here is the map. Shall we divide our rights according to our threefold order taken?
The Archdeacon has divided it into 3 limits very equally. England, from Trent and Severn hitherto, is to my part assigned. All westward, Wales beyond the Severn shore, and all the fertile land within that bound, to Owen Glendower. And dear cuz, to you, the remnant northward lying off from Trent.
Methinks my part north from Burton here in quantity equals enough one of yours. See how this river comes me cranking in and cuts me from the best of all my land. I'll have the current in this place dammed up, and then the smug and silver Trent shall run in a new channel fair and evenly.
I'll not have it altered.
Oh, won't you?
No, nor shall you.
And who's going to stop me?
I will.
Let me not understand you then. Speak it in Welsh.
Come, you shall have Trent turns.
I don't care. I'll give you thrice so much land to any well-deserving friend. But in the way of bargain, mark me. I'll cavil on the 9th part of the hair. Are the indentures drawn? Shall we be gone?
The moon shines fair, we shall away by night. I'll haste the right and withal. Break with your wives of our departure hence. I am afraid my daughter will run mad, so much she doteth on her Mortimer.
Fie, Cousin Percy, how you cross my father.
I cannot choose. Sometimes he angers me with telling me of Mulrup and Anne, and the dream of Merlin and his prophecies, and such a deal of scamble stuff as drives me from my faith.
In faith he's a worthy gentleman, exceedingly well read and profited, in strange concealments, valiant as a lion. He holds your temper in high respect, and curbs himself even of his natural scope. When you come across his humour, faith he does.
In faith, my lord, you are too wilful blame. You must needs learn, Lord, to amend this fault, though sometimes it show greatness, courage, blood, and that's the dearest grace it renders you. Yet often it doth present harsh rage, defect of manners, want of government, loseth men's hearts, and leaves behind a stain upon the beauty of all parts besides.
Well, I am schooled. Good manners be your speed. Here come our wives. Let us take our leave.
Lords, give us leave. The Prince in Wales and I must have some private conference, but be near at hand to punish my mistreatings. Tell me else, could such inordinate and low desires as thou art matched and grafted to accompany the greatness of thy blood and hold their level with thy princely heart?
So please your majesty, I could find pardon on my true submission.
God pardon thee, yet let me wonder at thy affections, which do hold a wing quite from the flight of all thy ancestors. Thy place in council thou hast rudely lost, which by thy younger brother is supplied. The hope and expectation of thy time is ruined, and the soul of every man prophetically do forethink thy fall. Had I so lavish of my presence been, so stale and cheap to vulgar company, opinion that did help me to the crown, and kept reputeness banishment. By being seldom seen, I could not stir, but like a comet I was wondered at. I stole all courtesy from heaven, and I've plucked allegiance from men's hearts, even in the presence of the crowned king, the skipping king. He ambled up and down, mingled his royalty with capering fools, grew a companion to the common streets, and in that very line standest thou, Harry. Not an eye but is aweary of thy common sight, save mine which desired to see thee more.
I shall after my thrice gracious lord be more myself.
When I from France set foot at Ravensburg, and even as I was then, is Percy now. He doth fill fields with the harness of his realm. He doth shake the peace and safety of our throne. And what say you to this? Percy, Northumberland, the Archbishop's Grace of York, Douglas, Mortimer, capitulate against us and are up. But wherefore do I tell thee of my foes, which are my nearest and dearest enemies? Thou art like enough through vassal fear to fight against me under Percy's pay, and show how much thou art degenerate.
Do not think so. You shall not find it so, and God forgive them that so much have swayed your majesty's good thoughts away from me. I shall redeem all this on Percy's head, and in the close of some glorious day be bold to tell you that I am your son, where I will wear a garment all of blood, and stain my favours in a bloody moss, which washed away shall scour my shame with it. And that shall be the day when ere it lights, that the same child of honour and renown, this gallant Hotspur, this all-praised knight, and you unthought of Harry, chance to meet. For I shall make this northern youth exchange his glorious deeds for my indignities. This, in the name of God, I promise here. I do beseech your majesty myself, the long-grown wounds of my intemperance. If not, the end of life cancels all bounds, and I shall die 100,000 deaths. I bet the smallest pass of this vow.
100,000 rebels die in this. Thou shalt have sovereign trust herein. Some water blunt.
That Douglas and the English rebels met the 11th of this month at Shrewsbury, a mighty and a fearful head they are, if promises be kept on every hand, as ever for offered foul play in a state.
The Earl of Westmoreland set forth today. On Wednesday, Hal, you shall meet him. On Thursday, our general forces at Bridgenorth shall meet. Our hands are full of business. Let's away. Advantage feeds and fat while men delay.
Well said, my noble Scot, if speaking truth in this financial not thought flattery. Such attribution should the Douglas have, as not a soldier of this season's stamp should go as general current through the world.
Thou art the king of honour. No man so potent breathes upon this ground, but I will beard him.
Do so, and 'tis well.
These letters come from your father.
As from him, why doesn't he come himself?
He's not come, he's very sick.
Sick now? Droop now? This sickness doth infect the very lifeblood of our enterprise. 'Tis catching hither even to our camp. He writes me here that inward sickness, and that his friends by deputation could not so be drawn, nor did think it meet to lay so dangerous and dear a trust on any sore remote but his own. Yet it doth give us bold advertisement that with our small conjunction we should on to see how fortune is deposed to us. For as he writes, there will be no quailing now, for the king is certainly possessed of all our purposes. What say you to it?
Your father's sickness is a main to us. The quality and hair of our attempt brooks no division. It will be thought by some that not know why he is away, that wisdom, loyalty, and mere dislike of our proceedings kept the earl from here. This absence of your father's draws a curtain that shows the ignorant a kind of fear before not dreamt of.
You strain too far. I rather of his absence make this use. It lends a lustre and more great opinion, a larger dare to our great enterprise than if the earl were here. For men must think that if we, without his help, can make an army to push against the kingdom with his help, then we shall turn it topsy-turvy down. Yet all our joints are whole, it all goes well. My cousin Vernon, welcome by my soul.
Pray God my news be worth the welcome, Lord. The Earl of Westmoreland, 7,000 strong, is marching this way with Prince John.
No harm, what more?
And further I have learned, the king himself is set forth with a strong and mighty army.
He shall be welcome too. Where is his son, the nimble-footed madcap Prince of Wales, and his comrades that duck the world aside and bid it pass?
All furnished, all in arms, baited like eagles having lately bathed, glittering in golden coats like images, as full of spirit as the month of May, and gorgeous as the sun at midsummer. I saw young Harry, gallantly armed, rise up from the ground like feathered Mercury, and vaulted with such ease into his seat as if an angel dropped down from the clouds to turn and wind a fiery Pegasus, and witch the world with noble horsemanship.
No more, no more! What's in a sunny march? This praise doth nourish eggs. Let them come. They come like sacrifices in their trim, and to the far-eyed maiden of smoky war, all hot and bleeding, shall we offer them. The mailed marshal on his altar sit up to the ears in blood. I'm on fire to hear of such a rich reprisal is so nigh, and yet not ours. Come, let me test my horse, who is to bear me like a thunderbolt against the bosom of the Prince of Wales. Harry to Harry shall hot horse to horse, meet and ne'er part till one drop down, of course. Oh, the Glendower come.
But there's more. I learned in Worcester as I rode along, Glendower can't bring his army for 2 weeks.
That's the worst news I've heard yet.
That bears a frosty sound.
What? How many troops has the king?
About 30,000.
40 let it be. Come, let us take a muster speedily. Die all, die merrily.
Talk not of dying. I am not afraid of death this year.
Bardolph, get thee before to Coventry. Fill me a bottle of sack. A soldier shall march through tonight. We'll to Sutton Coldfield tonight.
Will thou give me money, Captain?
Lay out, lay out. If I be not ashamed of my soldiers, I'm a South Garnet. I've got, in exchange of 150 men, 300 and on pounds. I press me none, but good householders, yeomen's sons. Hire me out contracted bachelors, and they have given their services. Now I have, such as indeed were never soldiers, but discarded, unjust serving men, younger sons to younger brothers, revolted tafters, ostlers trade fallen, they're cankers of a calm world and a long peace, 10 times more dishonourable raised than an old-faced ancient. A mad fellow met me on my way and asked me if I had unloaded all the gibbets and pressed the bodies. Now I have seen such scarecrows. I'll not march through Coventry with them.
How now, Blown Jack? How now, Quilt?
How now, Hal? How now, mad wag? What the devil dost thou in Warwickshire? My good Lord Westmoreland, I cry you mercy. I thought your honour had already been at Shrewsbury.
Faith, Sir John, 'tis more than time that I were there, and you too, but my powers were there already. The king, I can tell you, looks for us all. We must away all night.
Tut! Never fear me. I'm as vigilant as a cat to steal cream.
But tell me, Jack, whose fellows are these that come after?
Mine, Hal, mine.
I did never see such pitiful grass.
Tut, tut! Good enough to toss. Food for powder, food for powder. They'll fill a pit as well as better.
But so far, my case, Percy's already in the field.
What? Is the king encamped?
He is, Sir John. I fear we shall stay too long.
We'll fight with him tonight.
It may not be.
You give him then advantage.
Not a whit.
Why say you so? Looks he not for supply?
So do we.
His is certain, ours is doubtful.
Good cousin, be advised. Stir not tonight.
You do not counsel well. You speak it out of cold heart and fear.
Do me no slander, Douglas. Let it be seen tomorrow in the battle which of us fears.
Yea, or tonight.
Content.
Tonight, say I.
Good. Come, it may not be. Certain horse of my cousin Vernon's are not yet come up. My uncle Worcester's horse came but today, and now their pride and mettle is asleep.
So the horses of the enemy, the better part of ours, are full of sleep.
The number of the king exceedeth ours. For God's sake, cousins, stay to all, come in.
I come with gracious offers from the king, if you vouchsafe me hearing and respect.
Welcome, Sir Walter Blunt.
The king has sent to know the nature of your griefs. If that in any way the king has forgot your griefs, he bids you name them, and with all speed, and you shall have your desires with interest, and pardon absolute for yourself, and these herein misled by your suggestion.
The king is kind, and well we know the king knows at what time to promise, when to pay. My father and my uncle and myself did give him that same royalty he wears, and when he was not 26 strong, a poor unminded outlaw sneaking home, my father gave him shelter to the shore, and when he heard him swear and vow to God, he came but to be Duke of Lancaster. My father, in kind heart and pity moved, swore him assistance and performed it too. He presently, as great in his nose's stealth, steps me a little higher than his vow made to my father while his blood was poor upon the naked shore of Ravensbourg.
I came not to hear of this.
Then to that point, in short time after he deposed the king, soon after which deprived him of his life, he, Mortimer, disgraced me in my many happy victories, broke oath on oath, committed wrong on wrong, and in conclusions drove us out to seek this withal to pry into his titles, the which we find too indirect for long continuance.
Shall I return this answer to the king?
No, we'll withdraw a while, and in the morning early shall mine uncle bring him our purposes, and so farewell.
I wish you would accept grace and love.
Maybe so we shall.
Pray God you do.
How bloodily the sun begins to peer over yonder hill. The day looks pale at this temperature.
The southern wind foretells a tempest and a blustering day.
Then with the losers let it sympathise, for nothing can seem foul to those that win. How now, good Worcester? 'Tis not well that you and I should meet upon such terms as we meet now. You've made us doff our easy robes of sympathy, and crush our limbs in ungentle steel. 'Tis not well, Lord Worcester, 'tis not well.
Hear me, my liege, for mine own part, I could be well content to entertain the lag end of my life with quiet hours, for I protest I have not sought the day of this dislike. It pleased your majesty to turn your looks of favour from myself and all our house, and yet I must remember you, my lord. It was myself, my brother, and his son, that brought you home, and boldly did outdare the dangers of the time. You swore to us, and you did swear that oath at Doncaster, that you did nothing purpose against the state, nor claim no further than your new fallen right, the seat of Gaunt, Dukedom of Lancaster. To this we swore our aid, but in short space you took occasion to be quickly wooed, to gripe the general sway into your hand. Forget your oath to us at Doncaster, and being fed by us, you used us so as that ungentle gull the cuckoo's bird useth the sparrow. Did oppress our nest, grew by our feeding to so great a bulk, we were forced for safety's sake to fly out of your sight and raise this present head, whereby we stand opposed by such means as you yourself have forged against yourself by violation of all faith and troth.
These things indeed you have articulate, proclaimed at market crosses, read in churches, to face the garment of rebellion with some fine colour that may please the eye, of fickle changelings, of poor discontents, and never yet did insurrection want such pale watercolours to inflate his cause.
In both your armies there is many a soul shall pay full dearly for this encounter. The Prince of Wales does join with all the world in praise of Harry Percy. By my hopes I do not think a braver gentleman, more daring or more bold, is now alive to grace his latter age with noble deeds. For my part, no may speak it to my shame, I have a truant been to chivalry, but I am content that he shall take the odds of his great name and estimation, and will, to save the blood on either side, try combat with him in a single fight.
And, Prince of Wales, so dare we venture thee, all bait considerations infinite do make against it. And will they take the offer of our grace? Both he and you, yea, every man shall be my friend again. Don't tell your cousin and bring me word. We offer it fair, take it advisedly.
The Douglas and the Hotspur together are confident against the world in arms.
Hence, therefore, every leader to his charge. For on their answer we shall set upon them, and God befriend us, their cause is just.
Hal, if thou see me down in battle, bestride me so. 'Tis a point of friendship.
Nothing but a colossus can do thee that friendship. Say thy prayers and farewell.
I would 'twere bedtime, Hal, and all was well.
Why, thou owest God a death.
'Tis not due yet. I would be loath to pay him before his day. What need I be so forward with him that calls not on me? Well, 'tis no matter. Honour prick me on. Yea, but how, if honour prick me off when I come on? How then? Can honour set to a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take away the grief of a wound? No. What is that honour? A word? No. What is there in that word honour? What is honour? Air? Who hath it? He that died a Wednesday, doth he feel it? No. Doth he hear it? No. 'Tis insensible then. Yea to the dead, but will it not live with the living? No. Why, detraction will not suffer it, therefore I'll none of it. Honour is a mere scutcheon, and so ends my catechism.
Oh no, my nephew must not know, Sir Richard, the liberal and kind offer of the King.
But Betsy did.
Then are we all undone? It is not possible. It cannot be. The King should keep his word in loving us. Look how we can, or sad, or merrily. Interpretation will misquote our looks, and we shall feed like oxen at a stall. The better cherish still the nearer death. My nephew's trespass may be well forgot. It has the excuse of youth and heat of blood. All his offences are upon my head, and on his father's. We did train him on, and his corruption being taken from us, we as the spring of all shall pay for all. Therefore, good cousin, let not Harry know in any case the offer of the king.
Deliver what you will. I'll say 'tis so. Here comes your cousin.
Uncle, what news?
The king will bid you battle presently.
Fight him by the Lord of Westmoreland.
Douglas, go to him and tell him so.
Merry and shall and very willingly.
There is no seeming mercy in the king.
Did you beg any? God forbid.
I told him gently of our grievances. He calls us rebels, traitors, and will scourge with haughty arms this hateful naming us.
Arms, gentlemen, to arms, for I have thrown a brave defiance in King Henry's teeth.
The Prince of Wales stepped forth before the king, and nephew challenged you to single fight.
Oh, would the quarrel lay upon our heads that no man might draw short breath today but I and Harry Monmouth? Tell me, how shall his tasking? Seemed it contempt?
No, by my soul, never in my life did I hear a challenge urged more modestly. He gave you all the duties of a man, trimmed up your praises with the princely tongue. He made a blushing sight of himself. If he outlived the envy of this day, England did never owe so sweet a hope, so much misconstrued in his wantonness.
Cousin, I think thou art enamoured in his follies. Never did I hear of any prince so wild a liberty. But be as he will, yet once a night, I will embrace him with a soldier's arm, that he shall shrink under my courtesy. Oh, gentlemen, the time of life is short. To spend that shortness basely were too long. If we live to tread on kings. If die, brave death when princes die with us. Now, for our consciences, the arms are fair, when the intent of bearing them is just.
Lord, prepare, the king comes on apace.
I'll kill his wardrobe piece by piece until I meet the king.
Though I could escape shot free at London, I fear the shot here. Soft! Who are you? Sir Walter Blunt. There's honour for you. Here's no vanity. I'm as hot as molten lead, and as heavy too. I need no more weight than mine own bowels. I've led my ragamuffins where they are peppered. There's not 3 of my 150 left alive. Oh, Hal, I prithee you give me leave to breathe a while. I have paid Percy, I have made him sure.
He is indeed a led to kill thee. I prithee, lend me thy sword.
Nay, before God, Hal, if Percy be alive, thou getst not my sword, but take my pistol if thou wilt.
What? Is it in the case?
Aye, 'tis hot, 'tis hot. There's that will sack a city.
What is there time to jest and dally now?
Oh, Hal, if Percy be alive, I'll pierce him if he come in my way so. I like not such grinning honour as Sir Walter hath. Give me life any day which I can save.
If I mistake not, thou art Harry Monmouth.
Thou speaks if I would deny my name.
My name is Harry Percy.
Why then I see a very valiant rebel of that name. I am the Prince of Wales, and think not, Percy, to share with me in glory any more. 2 stars keep not their motion in one sphere, nor can one England book a double reign of Harry Percy and the Prince of Wales.
Nor shall it, Harry, for the hour has come to end the one of us, and would to God thy name in arms were now as great as mine.
I'll make it greater I part from thee, and all the body honours on thy crest I'll crop to make a garland for my head.
I can no longer brook thy vanities.
Well said, Hal. To it, Hal. Now you shall find no boys' play here, I can assure you.
Oh, Harry, thou hast robbed me of my youth. I better brook the loss of brittle life than those proud titles thou hast won of me. They were my thoughts worse than thy sword, my flesh. But thoughts, the slaves of life, and life, time's fool. And time that takes survey of the world must have a stop. Oh, I could prophesy that the earth in cold hand of death lies on my tongue. No, Percy, thou art dust and food for...
For worms, brave Percy, fare thee well, great heart. Ill-weaved ambition, how much art thou shrunk! When that this body did contain a spirit, a kingdom for it was too small a bound, but now too placed the vilest earth is room enough. This earth that bears these dead, bears not a life so stout a gentleman. Adieu, and take thy praise with thee to heaven, thy ignominy sleep with thee in the grave, but not remembered on my epitaph. What? Old acquaintance? Could not all this flesh hold in a little life? Poor Jack, farewell. I could have better spared a better man. Death hath not struck so fat a deer today, though many deer in this bloody fray. Embowed will I see thee by and by, till then in blood by noble Percy lie.
Embowed? If thou embower me today, I'll give you leave to pound me and eat me tomorrow. The better part of valour is discretion, in which the better part I've saved my life. Zounds, I'm afraid of this gunpowder Percy, though he be dead. How if he should counterfeit too and rise? Therefore, I'll make him sure. Yea, and I'll swear I killed him. Why not he rise as well as I? Therefore, sirrah, with this new wound in your thigh, come you along with me.
Good Lord, whom have we here? I thought I saw this fat man dead, breathless and bleeding on the ground. Art thou alive, or is it fantasy that plays upon my eyesight?
There is Percy. If your father would do me any honour so, if he do not, let him kill the next Percy himself. I look to be the Earl or Duke, I can assure you.
Why, Percy, I killed myself and saw thee dead.
This thou? Lord, Lord, how the world is given to lying. I grant you, I was down and out of breath, but we both rose at an instant and fought a long hour by Shrewsbury Crock. I'll take it upon my death. I gave him this new wound in his thigh. Zounds, if he be alive and would deny it, I would make him eat a piece of my sword.
This is the strangest tale that ever I heard, and this is the strangest fellow. Come, bring your luggage nobly on your back. For my part, if a lie may do thee grace, I'll gild it for the happiest terms I have. The trumpet sounds retreat, the day is ours. Come, bring your luggage nobly on the back. We must to the heights of the field to see which friends are living, which are dead.
I'll follow, as they say, for reward. He that reward me, God reward him. If I grow great, I'll grow less, for I'll purge and leave sack, and I shall live as cleanly as a nobleman shall do.
Thus ever did rebellion find rebuke. Ill-spirited Worcester, did we not send terms of love to you? Pardon? And terms of grace to you all? And must thou turn our offers contrary, misuse the tenor of thy kinsman's trust?
What I have done, my safety urged me to, and I embrace this fortune patiently, since not to be avoided it falls on me.
Bear Worcester the death, and Vernon too. Other offenders we shall pause upon.
The noble Scot, Lord Douglas, when he saw the fortune of the day, fled with the rest. But I beseech your majesty, I may dispose of him.
With all my heart.
Go to the Douglas and deliver him, up to his pleasure, ransomless and free. His valour shown upon our quest today have taught us how to cherish such high deeds, even in the bosoms of our adversaries.
Then this remains that we divide our power. Son John and cousin Westmoreland towards York shall bend, and meet with that prelate Scroop, who as we hear are busy in arms. Myself and you, son Harry, shall towards Wales, to meet with Glendower. Rebellion in this land shall lose his sway, meeting the check of such another day. And since our business so fair is done, let us not leave till our own be won.
None of the pupils you've seen auditioned for their parts. Once the project was decided on, parts were simply allocated within the one class. But later on, some pupils from other classes joined in the project. The educational purpose underlying this experiment was simply as follows: to develop the drama skills of pupils and to enable them to discover their strengths and weaknesses, to engage with their O-level set text in a new and creative way, and very importantly, to to learn the value of individual and group effort, because a production like this is very much a group effort, with everybody interdependent on everybody else. Many lessons were learned, most of them out of the classroom. When the practical intensive rehearsals were tested against the constraints of real filming and the pressures of camera equipment and such forth, pupils discovered that more was required than simply learning their lines. They had to be able to communicate the lines and to dramatize them. Often they were performing in public. Individual pupils had learned the importance of clear diction and the fact that they had to dramatize the parts rather than simply reading the lines or muttering them or whatever. And some of the criticisms that we had were to do with garbled English, partly due to nervousness. Pupils would rush their lines and such forth. However, overall, the production was extremely enjoyable. Pupils learned a great deal about themselves and other people in the process, and far more than just the words of the text itself, because the enterprise meant they had to bring the parts to life and therefore learn about the characters and the play in general. We enjoyed doing it greatly. I must say that many of the weak parts of the play were redeemed through skillful editing. Finally, I should like to thank everybody involved, the teachers, the pupils, the parents and the technical staff, who worked so very hard to make this production successful.